Let's see. Patience arrays its strategies. The blue sky fiance and the startling flows. Tincture of days passing. Rapture of plant consciousness. Suppliant, plaintive refrain. Sidereal inertia of the earth return posture and the vibratory distances between dreams. This time, the vertigo is temporary. It effects a textuality of sex. Brazen conjure. The medium is palladium and hypostasizes. Its valence sighs and lies upon the periodic table, maybe radiant agency. From the premonitory depths of the firing, a beam of gauze hovers, pale northern glaze veils. The surface of the lake of serene gleams. Crystals, larvae, buds, gemmules, organiforms with felt hats and vivid fringes, fungus tumuli, reticulum of her thought fur murmurs. Something about this urn of a world, quivering telepresence within the furniture. These retinals and nerve-wing things fluttering about the telling. This urn world. Here are the improbables and the multilated, whose theoretical spin is spindled with feral delight, as history does the hominid wobble. Language dwells in the lulls, lingers lovingly in the lapses. Lazuli and gladioli, my fetishes. So gland me your vocabulary or the book of your coterie. I ignore those corrosives and the admonishment of my hypothetical advisors for your inflorescence, for your sheer fervor. Raw silk sheet, a flag or banner torn from our bed of salvages. After impassioned nations arrive at the table, disheveled and wild-eyed, simply ravenous. Godness infiltrates at bright angles to the representations of light. Gladioli, my fetishes. My frenetic bent was your ambivalence, my spent intensity, your civic dissent. And so I knit the fetish splint, for fantasy is virtuality, and I cannot resist the insistence of its undulations, its mirror's sight, its oval portal, near tar and error. Flung far into the nether, the imaginations are left to their own inverted devices. Apparent acceleration due to time dilation, really an eternity spent climbing the asymptotic beanstalk. Or shall we make a beeline to the blossoming, predestination over there? Flesh plum, the taste of theory in the back of the throat. Bitter sediment, sûrement. Golden seal upon parchment lips. Tongue a quiver of slippages, glottal stop, not. Concave effacement. Lattice dows in the presence of such displacement. Litmus, viscera discipline. Sorrow is round, but emits sparks when squeezed. Hybrid dynasties of carcinogenic saffron blossom across the apocalyptic centuries. Carmine tines of the migration into light. Another bloody mistake, mistook umbrage with fruiting bodies in likely nightshade. And the hallucinatory lines of flight of radicalized capital. Skip right along here. Behold the inglorious worm, apostate, programmatic, problematic evangel of the digital. Hail not, but beware the advent of the unraveling of its multifarious arithmetic from dark pools of illicit liquidity, hidden in the interworld, the very incunabulum of rising forth from the foam of the moment to the criticality of scopic regimes. Behold the amorphous chorus of the irredeemably mediated. A breach, amphibrac. Object ache, each abject stratification collapses in the culmination, which brings us to the apex of the inverse aversion, spiritualized appliances haphazardly raptured. Trigeminal peripherals vibrate or gesticulate, a squip quinty or cryogene plasmate, cryptic inarticulate acetate, say Golgi, embodiment raised, inchoate wafer-thin instrumentality. Be that as it may. And finally, these fluctuating thoughts. Through agate to a leafy whispering, a rustling of latencies, wondering what in the world happened to that other firmament, not entirely sure there ever was another, or what could possibly be the reason for this transition, being in the habit of climbing trees to estivate, O torpor, O bliss, and not really ideally situated to navigate the exigencies. A somewhat redundant incumbency seems to settle into this incarnation. Some psychogeographic emulsion extended in a gesture of compassion, or the epitome of opacity. Perhaps lapsed ambivalence, enlightenment, understood to be inadvertent. Thank you.